Welcome back to Steel and Vance. I have so been looking forward to this segment ever since you pitched this one, Linda, because nothing gets me more hot under the collar when I look at my monthly bill for my internet.
Oh, you have not seen my bill. I got one the other day that was almost $1,000.
What?
It was, yeah, I mean, not as bad as it sounds. They had missed a bill, but it was still hundreds of dollars. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I am paying way too much.
Yeah, clearly.
So I don't know if you saw this op-ed that was in Business in Vancouver. It was all about why we're paying so much for the internet. Do you need to pay that much? And all the politics. And believe me, there are a ton of politics.
Broken promises,
around
really.
this.
Broken promises.
There are many broken promises involved. So the guy who wrote that op-ed is with us. Jason Spears is the co-founder of Babel Communications, which is based in Richmond. You are a third-party internet sales provider. First of all, what is that?
Third-party internet service provider.
Service provider.
Yeah.
So,
so what is that? Essentially, we use the existing infrastructure. We have access to the existing infrastructure. We pay wholesale rates, and we can provide internet services. So from the home to our network, we have a network downtown. We use existing structure, and then from our network to the end destination, we take over.
So, for just pardon my naivete when it comes to this,
Sure.
I would assume that my internet that I'm provided by the big telecoms is going to be faster and safer and more reliable. Mm-hmm. Please debunk that for me, because I have to believe that service providers like yourself are delivering.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the same internet, just we can do it at a better price.
How?
The big guys have been around for a long time.
mm-hmm.
They've built really big companies that cost a lot of money. We're in a bit of a different time now where we can build digital companies. So we can start building smarter, faster, be more nimble, and not necessarily carry the overhead. So we don't have call centers, we don't have fleets of trucks, we don't have real estate all over the country. These are costs that we don't have, which we do not put on to the customer.
So who do I call if my Babel doesn't work?
So we have a couple of different methods. We're using text messaging right now, which is proving to be fantastic. We're getting great reviews. Simply send us a text message and we're responding within seconds.
That sounds not like I'm on hold for a long time.
Zero hold.
And pretty much with the internet, a lot of it is just it's not working, and your response is unplug it.
Yeah,
plug it back in.
It's 80-20. 80% of the time, yeah, we call it power cycling. Power cycle the modem, unplug it, give it a few seconds, plug it back in, let it do its thing, and it basically flushes it out, comes back on. 80% of the time you're back. That 20% of the time where perhaps there's a different problem, we can help you out through texting, and we're solving those problems almost 100% of the time.
So we don't need the guy to or gal, whoever, the tech person to show up in the van that's got the logo on it and the stuff between this time and this time, which inevitably takes even longer. Bless them, by the way, not their fault.
No.
But the infrastructure is set up not particularly customer centric.
So it's a lot more modern. So what I will say is they've done a great job. The big guys have done a great job moving their networks from yesterday into today. Right. So they're sound networks. They work great. They don't need to be touched the way they used to be back in the years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago. So we don't have to send technicians out. So there are rare occasions, I will say, something is broken. A line is broken or been disconnected, or somebody did something. A human has to go and solve that problem. That's a given, but that's very far and few in between. Like it's very little downtime because a person was involved. It's usually the person at the home didn't set something up right.
Right.
Correct.
So let's talk about the prices. I think we're in the top 5 for the most expensive internet in the world. And one of the things that I think is interesting is we always feel that we have to your point, have the fastest, and we got to get the premium package. And you say that most of us are probably paying for a premium internet service we don't even need.
You're being marketed the biggest and the best for a reason. The reason is because they'll make more money. So that's all you're seeing in the front end. In the back end, what you do on the internet for majority, the average user, is very, very little. So you're being sold this massive pipe when all you need is just a little pipe.
Because everybody has seen that little circling thing, or the little,
The beach ball
hands
thing.
of sign,
Yeah.
sands of time, or whichever it is, the hourglass or the beach ball. And everybody's, I don't want that. I don't want buffering. I don't want, so we're fearful of the buffering, so we go for the bigger package when we don't know. How much percentage-wise do you think we could decrease on average? Putting you on the spot.
Significantly. I mean, we sell 3 packages. Our fastest package is 250 megabits per second. So what you're seeing in the market right now is gig internet, or 1.5, or even 2 gig, even faster in some cases. Our 250 package, which is a quarter of a gig, is by far more than enough for the average user. By far.
When you say average user, are you including gaming and stuff like that?
So, there's a
mother of a 15-year-old.
Sure. There's a top percent and a bottom
Yeah,
percent. This is where the gamers, maybe heavy media files that you're uploading, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're not going after that market. If that's the stuff you're doing, heavy gaming, all that stuff, sure, go with the bigger. Go with the bigger.
I like that.
Average user, someone's watching Netflix, somebody's on Facebook, somebody's checking their email, somebody's on Amazon. That's an average user.
That would be me.
That would be you.
And that doesn't happen all day, every day. It happens in increments. So if you're watching Netflix and turn it off, and somebody else goes on the internet and does something else, those are different, right? Mediums, right? So you're not constantly flooding this pipe. You're using it in a fluctuation.
We've changed the need, right?
So the Trudeau government promised to bring internet and cell phone rates down, and so far hasn't really done that.
Right.
What's going on with the politics? There's some broken promises, but there's some hope maybe on the horizon?
Really?
Sure. Yeah. So this is a very long and convoluted story, but I'll try to make it quick. In 2016, the CRTC started a study. They were thinking that the wholesale rates that the companies like ours pay are too high. 3 years. They studied for 3 years. They came back and said, yes, they're way too high. And they significantly slashed these rates. Now, the big guys were not happy. There was some retro pay involved to the tune of $200 million. So they went to court. Spent another year in court, where the federal government, the Supreme Court of Canada, the federal court, the Supreme Court of Canada, all they didn't even hear the case. They're like, this is kind of a waste of our time. It went back to the government. The government, the head of ISED at that time, went back to the CRTC and said, hey, maybe give this a rethink. Spent another year, so 5 years has now passed, where prices have not changed. In fact, they've steadily increased over that period of time. The CRTC came back and said, you know what, we erred. We're going back to the 2016 rates, which were the high rates they were trying to slash
When
in the
does
first
that
place.
happen?
Yeah, so that hasn't happened.
We're going to bang that drum a little bit.
But this year, so perhaps a positive, if you will, this year there's a new person in charge of the CRTC. And she comes with a background from the Competition Bureau and competition law, and has made it very public that more competition is what's going to help with pricing.
Yes. So fingers are crossed.
Fingers are crossed.
So you're based in Richmond, but you're selling across the province and in Alberta, I think.
Not quite in Alberta yet.
About?
No, so we're on the island. It's Campbell River down to Victoria, and then in the Lower Mainland from Whistler to Chilliwack.
So it's Babbel, BABBL Communications Limited. So go there because you can get cheaper internet.
I want
Same stuff you'd get from Rogers and TELUS, but you can get it from Babbel. So,
That's right.
Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks.
We cross our fingers waiting for the rates to come down.
We're going to stay on top of this. We got more to come on the show. Actually, we've had to carve out some extra time for what the hell is wrong with people again.
Yeah, and coming up next on Seal and Vance, it is Canada's dirty little secret. We're talking about thousands of live horses being shipped overseas to be made into sashimi. Jan Arden wants that practice stopped, and she joins us next.